Hey guys, today I'm going to do an inspection, show you how to do an inspection or a routine inspection on a lawnmower. So depending, you do it weekly, monthly, weekly, monthly, and even maybe yearly, depending on how much you use it. So the first thing you want to check when you've got it out, pulled it out and finished mowing, is to check the spark plug. You need to get a spark plug wrench, which are available from Halfords and any good hardware and automotive store. You just put it on and twist it and it will come off. You need to make sure it's a brownish colour, which means the engine is running correctly. If it's very sooted, it means the engine's running rich, and commonly if it's sooted you'll see a bit of black smoke coming out, which means the engine's burning too much fuel. So you need to change the carburetor settings. If it's got oil on it, it means the engine is worn, and it's commonly characterised by blue smoke coming out the exhaust, which means you need to think about overhauling your engine. There's lots of other types of spark plug, you can go look this up, but those are the two main ones I see commonly on lots of my engines I have. Then you need to check the air cleaner, because this is where sometimes if it's running rich it means it's got a clogged air cleaner. So if it's like that, it means it's clean. There's only a bit of dirt on this one because it's not really used in dusty conditions. As you can see, the lawn's cut. It's nice and clean. So if you can see the sponge original colour, which is either green or yellow, that means the sponge is good. And if it doesn't have much grass on it, and that's the first thing to check if you have a poorly running engine that chugs black smoke, is to check the air filter, because it will be choking the engine. And then clean it. You just put it in some soapy water, squeeze all the crap out, and you wash it, and then you sit it out in the sun to dry. And you put a teaspoon of oil onto it, and then squeeze it around, and then put it in again, and it will be good as new. Although eventually they do get worn out. They're quite cheap. Next thing to check is this little red bulb. Check that it's not cracked and it feels good. It should be round and cracked. Sometimes they're black. So the colour of these, sometimes they're black, some of them are red like this. And you need to check them for cracks and check them that they're working. They should make this kind of noise. You should be able to hear fuel being squirted into the engine. If you can't, it means you need to check whether it's got any cracks, or if fuel leaks out of here, it means you've got a cracked primer bulb. Those are about a couple of quid. Usually, they're quite easy to change. You just put a screwdriver in there, get it out. Well, don't need to do that because this one's fine. You just put the clip round. Look in there, there's a clip. You just poke it around and you just pry it out. Doesn't matter if the old one's broken because you're just fitting a new one. To put a new one, you just push it in with a screwdriver around the edge, and fitted it. So yeah, that's that. Check the colour of your fuel and check for cracks on the fuel tank. If it's dark yellow, that means it's old fuel. You need to get some new fuel. Usually just tip the lawnmower up and dump it out. If it's kind of very clear, it means it's quite new and it's worth using. Lots of people tend to use old fuel for lighting bonfires, but I don't. When I have old fuel, I just take it down the tip, because they've got a recycling facility for old fuel and oil and stuff. So just take all the old oil down the tip, which brings us on to our next thing to check. In fact, it doesn't actually. First thing to check before checking the oil is to check fins to make sure they're not clogged. If it's clogged and got lots of grass in it, chances are your engine's going to be overheating and it won't last much longer. So best thing to do is to check that. If it's got a lot of grass in, undo all these bolts. There's one there to get this plastic thing off. Then there's a bolt there, a bolt up there, and there's a bolt round there. Take that cowling off, hose or air compressor, blow the dirt out, and then your engine will run much cooler. I tend to find this on engines that have been neglected a bit. I've got a horizontal shaft engine I got off a lawnmower, or I bought it for £10 and it came off a lawnmower, and that was completely clogged, so that wouldn't have lasted much longer, but I saved it. So yeah, check the muffler to make sure it's okay and not rusted. These things tend to rust through quite quickly. They should be this kind of colour, silvery colour. If it's rusty and if they're rusty, they're usually okay, but when they get loud is when you have to change them. It's just 2 bolts there. Anyway, I'm just checking this thing out because it was getting very badly clogged with grass. And that's another thing to check. Lift up the deck and check if there's much grass around here. If there is, you need to clean the grass out with something, usually something sharp. Be kind of ruthless and use a pressure washer sometimes actually. But be careful on metal decks because that can kind of damage them sometimes. Metal decks are the ones that tend to be affected with grass sticking because when the grass sticks, it turns the juices in the grass, the sap, turns corrosive and starts making it rust. So that needs doing every time you use it. I've got one at home that started to do that. I'm at my other house, but at home, our other house, we got that. Anyway, now I need to check the oil. To undo usually a drain stick down here. There's sometimes down here, down the bottom of the block, underneath the carburetor, or here, or there, or sometimes you'll be able to find it. Just look in your manual. And you just unscrews, and you lift it out. And the oil should be between those 2 lines there. This one thing is halfway, which is good. It's filled up with good quality oil. If you use cheap oil, they tend to smoke more, and your engine's not going to be in as good condition. Another thing to do is check cables, make sure that that safety bar works, because if it doesn't work, if you have an emergency, you can't shut it off quickly. And the worst thing about these engines is there's no choke, so you can't really shut it off very quickly apart from pulling the plug thing off. So yeah, but if that works, it means when you let go of the handle, the engine will shut down. So yeah, and then put everything back together and you'll find it runs much better. I'll have a video coming up soon of tuning one of these carburetors maybe. So yeah, thanks for watching, see you next time.